What's going on YouTube? JT's Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're talking about Nightwing issue number 111. My goodness, 111 issues. Time really does fly by. But anyway, so this one is written by Tom Taylor. The backup Gray Sun storyline is written by Michael W. Conrad. Sam Basri is the artist on the main storyline. And we had somebody else on the backups. The credits are at the finale of that issue. But anyway, so this is the first issue post that random Beast World arc. This is back, and there is a mention of Heartless, but this seems to be a copycat storyline of Heartless. So I know they're finally going to wrap that storyline up. Tom Taylor, starting in May, is going to be like in the batch of doing like his final run on Nightwing. I think he's going to end at about like issue 120 if I'm not mistaken. So it's like a 5-part issue for the finale of it. So starting in May is when we're finally going to hopefully get a conclusion to the Heartless thing. They're teasing that is the finale to that run, and holy crap, like 40 plus issues or something like that to try and wrap up a Heartless storyline. That is an awfully long time. But this one again is the first issue post Beast World. Issue opens up with somebody getting murdered in a vein similar to that of Heartless, because this happens in Gotham City. Batman is there. He sees a kid who witnessed the whole thing, and so the kid is kind of put into police custody to kind of like be kind of kept someplace where he can be kept a little bit calm because he just witnessed a very traumatic thing. We also get some kind of flashbacks to Dick that kind of like mirrors some similar days stuff with him being, like going through some experiences and kind of taking those experiences and use them to kind of help this kid out in a little ways. We had the Flying Grayson's death scene. Bruce Wayne was there. We have Heartless himself, Shelton, or whatever his name is, just being a complete deranged sociopath as a child. So I actually completely forgot about like who was Heartless, because like I said, that storyline went on for so long. Maybe I should go back and reread the entire run at some point, but that's still a lot of to ask. But anyway, so Dick is there. He's at Barbara's place since he's in Gotham. Bruce asks for his help because this is a whole Heartless situation with the hearts being taken out. Dick is also going through his fear of heights for whatever reason, which they have not gone into explaining at some point. Was he injected with something? I don't exactly know. They're kind of dragging this thing out a little bit, if I got to be honest. So they go. Dick is there to kind of like talk to this kid, because Batman thinks, okay, you know what, I was there for this little traumatic experience. I'm probably not the best person suited for this thing. And he lets Dick kind of look after the kid and kind of talk to him a little bit, which makes sense because Dick Grayson's a different character to Batman, and he's good with kids. Bruce can be to an extent, but sometimes like Dick is kind of more suited for like this particular task, which does make sense. We also get flashbacks to Bruce there to kind of read to him as a child and all that other stuff. So Dick's there. He comforts the kid, and he gets a little bit of information out of him, but not enough to kind of determine who this killer is. But it's kind of obvious at this point because the uncle comes in, and this kid was suited with a lot of money, and that's kind of all we got. I'm surprised Batman and Nightwing aren't there like, hey, you know what? This kid just lost his father, if you will, who was completely loaded. And then we have this random, like, well, not necessarily random. We have his uncle come in here, and he's kind of being taken, like, he's there to kind of take care of the kid, if you will. And he's been revealed to be, like, kind of distant in a lot of ways. And even at the end of the issue, he's, like, angry and rageful. So, I mean, this is Batman. He suspects everybody. I'm surprised that wasn't brought up beforehand, but they're going to go and try and figure out some more information on the whole thing. They figure out it's like not necessarily Heartless because the way this killer did things, he was kind of sloppy about it. And now this uncle is just like screaming, angry, rage-fueled at the kid. He's like, because the superheroes are involved now, this is going to ruin everything. And the issue kind of ends with him taking the kid off somewhere. So yeah, so that's the main storyline stuff. At least there's some sort of connection to Heartless in a way that, he does appear as a child in the issue. And we have somebody who's seemingly a copycat killer of Heartless at this point. So that's the main storyline. And in the backup bit, we have this one set in the 14th century, somebody on the path for revenge. I guess they call him the Gray Sun, Gray space Sun. And then he confronts kind of the Joker. It's like a 2-part storyline. I don't know. It just, I'm not too, it just didn't really do much for me. We'll see what the second part kind of does. The artwork isn't quite as strong as the main storyline and it's 2 issues, a couple pages. We're kind of thrust into a storyline where there's not really much in terms of familiarity, and we're just kind of expected to care, I suppose. But for me, it didn't really do much. Now, the strengths of the main issue for me were the artwork going on here. I think the artwork by Sam Basri is really good. The Nightwing book has had consistently like really solid artwork from like Bruno Redondo from the beginning, and other artists have kind of stepped in and taken their own little crack at drawing Dick Grayson and, you know, his various allies within this storyline, and a lot of it has looked quite good. I am appreciative of the fact that we are back to something in connection with Heartless. I mean, we're going to finally be getting some sort of resolution to that storyline. I know I've only been saying it every issue of Nightwing for like an eternity, but it's been put off for so long, and even Batman's like, there's a scene where they talk about how not really having much leaves. I'm like, yeah, because you're off doing all these other things and not really just kind of finalizing this thing here too. So, but yeah, I'm curious to see how Taylor like culminates his Nightwing run, because it was needed at the start for what he, like the first arc was pretty good, and then I feel like we've kind of been caught in this like not really moving like much in terms of momentum forward. Like Dick Grayson, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. It tells us that every single issue, every character just praises Dick Grayson consistently in like every issue, it feels like. And yeah, I mean he's a good guy, but I don't need to be like told that. And I see it with his actions all the time. Like even Batman, the narration's kind of talking about it too, and that's something I've kind of started to notice too. But yeah, he's great and all, and like he moved the Titans to Bloodhaven because of course he did, and well, I mean because Taylor's writing that book, so he's trying to keep everything kind of like together, if you will. But yeah, like I feel like we haven't really like what do we like change. Like I want to see like something like really progress forward. I want to see something kind of new with him by the end of this run. Like what's going to happen. I mean, there were teases that they were going to push forward his relationship with Barbara, but that's been kind of at a stalemate. We didn't even get really a good crossover with him and Damian. Like there wasn't a good storyline. We had that one-off issue where Damian's a cat half the time and treated like a joke, and that was kind of a disappointment to me too, because like every other Bat Family member had like a good storyline with just the two of them, and then we had the Beast World Thailand, which you didn't really need to read with that other character who kind of popped up abruptly. But I mean, there's some good stuff in here. I like the moments of him in the past and kind of taking that information to kind of comfort the kid. There's some heroic moments, and there's a likability to the issue. There's nothing really obnoxious or anything like that per se. I am surprised that Batman and them are just immediately like, you know, the uncle seems like a red flag, because that's just the kind of like detectives that, you know, Batman is. He's a smart guy. I feel like anybody is a suspect. Like you have this other guy coming in here, why isn't he immediately like, yeah, let's kind of check this thing out? He's, you know, he's Batman. He's supposed to be a very smart character. Because obviously there's red flags we find out by the end of the issue. So, yeah. So issue number 111 of Nightwing. I mean, I liked some of it for the most part. I am excited to finally get towards the end of this Heartless thing. I am intrigued to see how this particular run by Taylor on Nightwing concludes, because there's going to be like this big grand storyline, if you will, with Dick Grayson. I feel like there should be some big thing that kind of wraps it all up. But I don't exactly know what they're going to do, and only time will tell per se. So good looking artwork though. The backup storyline you can kind of do without. I don't think it's really all that necessary. It doesn't really link or match up well with the first storyline in the main title. It just feels like, let's do some random 14th century Dick Grayson, not really Dick Grayson, Joker, but not really Joker sort of thing. I don't exactly know. It is what it is, I suppose. But yeah, this issue of Nightwing, it's okay. It's not one I'm going to really remember all that much. It's not one of my favorites in the run, but there's nothing really outright bad or awful about it. Like, it's totally fine, I suppose. And also, we're going to hopefully get some explanation soon about why Dick Grayson is now afraid of heights. It's not the first time I've seen that told in some sort of story. I remember back in Batman the Animated Series where the Scarecrow had guessed, or Dick Grayson had been infected with the fear toxin, and he was afraid of heights in that regards. But Scarecrow hasn't really been a factor in anything for a while now. I feel like we haven't seen him since the whole Fear State event, which, how many years ago was that at this point? Was that 2021, 2022? I don't know. I'm losing track of time at this point, but unless we get some sort of explanation that Scarecrow was involved in capacity, I don't know why Dick Grayson is all of a sudden afraid of heights, because it just kind of came out of the blue. There wasn't really like a triggering mechanism that at least I could look at and see. So, yeah. But anyways, I've rambled on long enough. What did you all think of Nightwing issue number 111? Post your comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit the bell for notifications, all the other fun stuff. I will be back again. I still got a couple more comic books to cover today and tomorrow probably, or and I might just get them all done today. There's like 6. Like I don't get why all the comic books I cover like are generally released on one day at the time. It's like one week that'll be like next to nothing, then another week it'll be like, oh, here's everything at once, Sean. Review them all. Like, come on, y'all. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But anyways, that's all I have to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.